Hey everyone, welcome to today's gratitude affirmation expansion practice. How are we doing? So, also another sunny day video. I did record 2 videos yesterday. I don't know if they're still uploading. That time has been kind of inconsistent this week. So if they haven't uploaded yet, there's a beautiful sunset video. Oh, it was so good. All right, so our gratitudes. Yesterday, I had talked about in one of my videos, there's a sculptor that I've been following for about like 10 years. I love her stuff. Her name is Ellen Jewett. And I think her stuff's so beautiful. I'd buy up almost everything if I could. And yesterday she had a mini sculpture sale. I did make it to the sale in time to buy something, but the prices we are expanding to embody those prices, should I say. But it was good to see what the prices were. The range was $300 to $5,000. I was expecting more things to be in the range of $300, maybe $600, but everything that I wanted was about $2,500. So I was like, okay. And 80% of her stuff sold out in like 8 minutes. So it goes fast. So I will be prepared for the next one. She seems to be doing more mini sculptures. And then, one of my goals is to own one of her big sculptures. Multiple ones of her sculptures. Oh, I just love her work so much. But anyways, we got data points. It was a great time just to see everything up there, and just honestly kind of crazy to see how fast everything sold out. She puts a lot of work into her sculptures. They are beautiful, and the price point's very much deserved. So that was one. Also talked to my aunt. We had great conversations yesterday. She was making meatballs and I was doing budgeting, and I realized at the end that I picked the wrong month and total, so I went back this morning and redid that. But another thing with the budgeting, so I am officially done for about another week. So I was doing all the way through last month's budget, and then this month we will be caught up in doing that on the 25th. It's also almost time for me to make next year's budget templates. And, I was talking with ChatGPT for an hour or two, better defining what I want to be capturing for next year and the best way to go about that. So I'm excited. I love budgeting. That is one thing where if other things are going on and I'm just casually filling out numbers and like thinking about things, I do not mind that as a process. Money, your relationship with money does matter. And so I do like to give it my time and attention. Number 3. So I did wake up again last night. Also, it is a very windy day, and so it kept howling outside of the window and waking me up. And so, but I got a chance to sleep in. This is the first morning that I think I have slept in quite a long time. So that was really good. I feel like I've had rest. We are going to refine when we are going to bed. And, we're just taking it a little bit slower today. I had a beautiful breakfast. I was budgeting while I was doing breakfast, which was so nice. Also, it is such a beautiful sunny day out. I mean, look at this. Yesterday was overcast, which was perfect. Today is sunny, and I think I'm going to go to my favorite place to go run, the place that I showed you guys the sunset at yesterday. What was that, like 3 for like sleeping in, breakfast, budgeting. I mean, we have way more than 5, but just let it sink in, all of the blessings I've had today. Number 4, you guys caught me right as I'm going grocery shopping. So we are going to plan that for the rest of the week. I think what I'm going to do is probably buy some of their pre-done meals and just not eat out this week. My body isn't feeling that great. And think about something different that I can add in that's warm for breakfast. So I've been heating up muffins. My body has seemed to like warm things. And I want to not eat so many chilled or cold things for breakfast. The other thing I've been doing is yogurt. So I don't know, maybe I will get less yogurt and then just alternate between those two and add something else warm in. That might be good for this week. I think we're gonna try that. Little refinements, you know. And then 5 for my day is that we have so much time today. So much time. I already have budgeting out of the way. There's some things that I need to purchase. So I'm out of my vitamin mix that I do in the mornings, and I could tell it's starting to have an effect on me. I also need another hairbrush. We need, what are they called? Like the little cuticle tweezers. I have like a list of things that I haven't got a chance to buy for myself. So that is going to be another thing that I'm doing today. And also, if around all those things, I'm probably going to talk to my friend Shelby. We were both doing different things yesterday. She seemed like she was relaxing. I went on a run and then I relaxed. It was nice. Oh my gosh. And guys, I curled up with the cat and we just had he was so warm and it was nice. I slept really good last night. Okay, so those are my gratitudes. For our message of the day, I would say I'm not going to do the message of yesterday. Go and watch my sunset video if you feel so inclined. But watch it all the way through to the end because I almost give like 2 messages in one video. And I think both of them are really relevant and valid. But our message of the day. Sometimes expansion means expanding backwards. And, if you've just discovered this channel or if you've been thinking about your own expansions in life and you would like some assistance or support with that, you know where to go. There's a link down below. And send me a message and we can see if coaching would be a good fit. So when we think of expansion, we kind of think of ourselves expanding outwards. But part of expansion, one of the most important parts, and you guys have heard me talk about this, is your own internal foundation. And can your own internal foundation handle and stay solid within an expansion? And one of my expansions that I'm working through, and you guys heard me talk about it this week, is that I'm going through a reality collapse. Different than a belief system collapse, which is different than just like, changing your thoughts, right? Our thoughts and our actions are built on belief systems that we may or may not be aware of. Most oftentimes, the ones that have the most effect on our life are the ones that we are subconsciously running in the background, right? And then within all of this, our reality is created and the framework in which we view our realities. And so sometimes our expansions actually look like we're expanding backwards, like falling into our reality. And the reality that I'm collapsing right now was a huge piece of my childhood that I wasn't fully aware of, that it was so tied to my perception of my current reality. So setting the framework of this, there was a theme of isolation in childhood. And that meant that in that time period, one of the acceptable forms of like correction or punishment or consequences for kids' actions was to ground them or, have them in their room, right? And so when that happened at our house, it meant that we could only come out for meals depending on what happened. We can only come out for mealtime. You didn't really get to go out and do anything. We weren't really a technology-based family, so it wasn't like we lost a lot of TV or phone privileges. And then back in that day too, just to set the stage, like there was only cable TV. Like cell phones weren't invented until I was almost in high school. The internet back then was, the internet didn't come around until like late 90s, early 2000s. So for context, when you were grounded, like you truly didn't really have a lot of options. And I just remember, and this is how belief systems and reality deconstruction kind of works, is you'll get random thoughts that'll pop in your head and you're like, that's weird. Why am I thinking about that? And then over time, you'll start to find that certain thought processes aren't really aligning with you anymore. And then you'll hit the belief system and you'll go, oh, okay, let's change that. And then over time, the way you're perceiving your life changes. And so I've had random thoughts of this one time where I was grounded where, it's very confusing as a kid because repair was not a part of that process. My family does not do well with repair. And so what do I mean by that? When something happens between you and somebody else, there should be an element of repair to the relationship if it is valued, important. And especially if you're working with children, like children can't repair things on their own, right? Like these are all behaviors that are taught. And so not having repair in my childhood has followed me in my life, where I took on more of that repair to not lose relationships that were important, or repair was not something that was necessarily offered to me, or I found people who also reflected back poor repair skills. And I'm at a point in my life now where, because of the expansions I'm going through, because of, what I am embodying and how I'm expanding, I have to deconstruct my entire reality. And so going back to the childhood and, being isolated, it started out like years ago with this one core memory of being grounded. And so for context, I have younger brothers. The entire family was outside playing and having a good time. And this is, I don't know, day 2 or 3 of being in my room by myself. And I just have to sit there and watch, and only coming out for dinners, with no repair. You just, as a child, are so confused about your role within the family dynamic. And then let's take that a step further. When the family dynamic isn't really connected to community, when it's really just extended family that you see every so often, your core family unit does become your community as well. So it's almost even more critical when something happens and you're not only are you at odds with the familial unit, but you're at odds with the entire community at large. And for a child, again, that is this massive thing, right? And as I'm speaking, I feel like whoever's watching, you're really resonating with this. And, if you are, and that was components of your childhood, let me be the first to tell you, I love you so much. I'm so proud of you for being where you are at in life today. And, we can definitely create more nurturing, healthy, established realities for ourselves. So, don't despair if this was something that you've experienced or been through. And I would say too, for me, there was a definite gap between that part of childhood and then the rest of my life. So when I got to the point where I couldn't be isolated, that whole dynamic just kind of fell by the wayside. But what didn't leave, right? Because the reality was, these belief systems, the patterns, how I related to my reality was created in that environment at such a young age. Even if the environment wasn't present, my belief system was still present. And part of that belief system that I came full circle with as part of deconstructing that reality, because I no longer live in it, is that repair is not part of my process or my life. Now, I will say, I am truly blessed by the friends that I have. I am truly blessed by the people who I have in my inner circle. I am so proud of myself and blessed for the amount of effort that I've put into myself in my life. And repair is a part of what I do within those relationships and that I have received back. But there have been many instances, and especially in romantic relationships, where repair was not, full true repair was not a part of those relationships. And to recognize that things in your life are literally mirroring deep belief systems and reality constructs from an earlier time. And if you want changes in that, you're gonna have to change your belief systems and deconstruct those realities that are no longer valid. And so one of the things that I started saying to myself yesterday is repair is a part of every single relationship in my life. If I have a relationship in my life, I do not have to worry because repair is a part of it. This is the same thing, to give you another example. About a year and a half ago, and this especially goes for women, but men can take this too because we both do this. I started to realize if I am attracting people who are creepy or, have a vibe of not being the best for me, and this just goes for strangers too, right? As women, we do get approached by a variety of people. But if I don't want that in my reality, I have a responsibility to myself to change the way that I'm perceiving my own reality. And so I started saying to myself, any man that is in my life, I don't stranger, best friend, acquaintance, coworker, any man that is in my life is here to help me, protect me, provide, nourish. The protection was a big one. And help and support. And ever since I've started looking at every single man that way, let me tell you, even the situations that would have gone the total different direction at an earlier point in my life, even though I can still feel those energies in certain people, let's just say you run into a stranger at a gas station, I'm either there are moments where I can see that person. It's like I'm now repelling to them. They will look and walk away. They will think twice about certain things that I know they're about to say. They will choose instead to be helpful, or say something that is a compliment, and I will just sincerely thank them for the compliment. I have not run into the situations that I ran into when I was younger because I am re-strengthening my belief system of this is what I expect in my reality. And also I have a very strong line for what I do if that is not what's happening in my reality. And so this is the same thing where I said to myself yesterday, repair is a deep and apparent part in all of my relationships that I have in my life. And that is, again, now a line for if a relationship in my life, after me upholding my end to do repair with this person, if they're not at a point where they desire to, potentially aren't capable of because of the reality that they live in. Remember, we live in separate realities. Or even if it's just not for my benefit at all, I am really okay just letting that remove itself from my reality. So all of that to say, you can have things playing out in your life that you have no idea about. And it does take a while for the belief system to kind of make itself known, right? First are random thoughts and past experiences that you've had, and they'll like randomly pop up and you're like, that's weird. Like, I'm just cooking dinner. I don't know where that thought came from. Like, just tap it in your brain. And then next is the belief system, where there's kind of thoughts along the same lines that will end at, oh, that's interesting. I've come to this conclusion, or this thought running in the background that seems very important is coming up. The thought for me was, if I am not seen by people, especially a masculine figure, then that equals danger to me, because of what my childhood was, and then especially the extra elements and context of when a masculine figure was involved in that. And I wouldn't say that that was just mine. That, is a historic pattern in both sides of my mom and my dad's family. So when I got to that point, I can then say, okay, this is really interesting. So that's another part that was build my reality that no longer is serving me. And then from that point, it got to thinking about how certain relationships I had in my life were really playing out that dynamic. And potentially it wasn't that, some of those relationships really were that bad. But the other component of that is, if I didn't hold this perception of reality, I probably, those relationships wouldn't have stayed in my life as long as they did. But they were so active, and the cord sometimes feels active, because that reality I had when I was a child wasn't fully worked through. And then today came one of the major pieces of that then I can change, which is repair. Since repair was not a part of my childhood in moments where it really needed to be, and now I'm an adult, and in those relationships that left, there wasn't really repair. That was a super activation for the realization of, like, do I want that to be a part of my adult reality? It is so windy. It is rocking this car right now. So that's the message of the day. Repair is a part of my reality now, going forward. And I'm really excited about that. And again, it's not that repair hasn't been a part of my reality, but it's the fact that that whole reality construct, that whole storyline was not fully deactivated. And so there's components still that I need to make conscious choices of now that I'm aware of it. And I'm really excited to see where that goes. And then the other thing too, just to go a little deeper, if repair is a part of your relationships, why do you need to stress and be anxious and create all these situations in your brain where you are fighting to get repair in the relationship? You can just trust relationship or repair is a part of your relationship. And if it's not, honor that and step away. Okay, so affirmation time. Number 1, as always, I am divinely guided and supported. With gratitude, I accept the help, nourishment, nurturance, repair, love, joy, peace, any of these blessings that have been bestowed on me today. I graciously accept them. Number 2, I love myself deeply, fully, and completely. Number 3, miracles, blessings, and anything that I am supposed to be a good steward of is just so abundance is so abundant in my life, so apparent. And I deeply love and enjoy appreciating, honoring, and forming a relationship with that. And number 4 for the day. What a beautiful day to be alive. Let's claim the day, our accomplishments, just the reality that we are co-creating, appreciate it, vibe with it, create more of what we want to experience. And 5 for the day. I'm a person that everything works out for easily, effortlessly, quickly, in my highest favor, with me, fully supported, and for the good of all, in total abundance. That is all, guys, for this video. I love you so much. What are you grateful for? What are you affirming? How is your expansion going? What are you expanding into today? Let me know. And I will talk to you guys very soon. I'm probably going to do another video later this evening. And then I got to pull stuff off my phone because I have probably 25 minutes. So I have room for maybe 1, maybe 2 more videos. But I love you. Have a wonderful day.